Record. There we are. All right. So welcome everybody. We are here at the kickoff training session of Nomadesk. The first part. The second will be for the other teams in the afternoon. So first of all, I'm going to start by telling you a little bit more about Nomadesk as a company, a little bit of a history. Then, using a couple of slides, tell you more about the product as such. And then, if we have some time left, I would love to do a live demo. So if you have questions, please put them in the chat box. I see that appearing in my control panel, and I will answer them right away. All right, so by kicking off, telling you a bit more about Nomadesk as a company, we started, or the company started more than 10 years ago with the idea of helping companies to access their data in the most flexible and the most mobile way that was offered at that time or at the actual time. So that was the basic idea of why Nomadesk started. Yeah, and the point is we started only focused towards the professional users. That's a very big thing to understand and to keep in mind. 10 years ago, it was started in Belgium, and at this point, we are still a Belgian company with a nice growth that we had in the past 10 years. Yeah, we evolved with the time. Yeah. So imagine you 10 years ago we had the opportunity to create this, but 10 years ago we never heard of cloud, we never heard of OneDrive or Google Drive or Dropbox or whatever other solution there was. There was already Nomadesk doing the things that at this point are very popular. Yeah, and that's a big thing to see in the historical thing about Nomadesk. So working with a data center in the US for our US customers, and working with a data center localized, sorry, in Amsterdam for our European customers, we have a very good offering regarding file or data ownership and data storage. Okay, so going over to what is Nomadesk. The definition of Nomadesk is of a cloud solution, secure file sharing and synchronization designed for professionals. Yeah, that's what we do. This is the sentence that you need to understand and need to keep in mind when you are trying to talk, or when you are going to talk about Nomadesk. Yeah, you can always set the direction of the way people need to think, or the direction way that they need to think. You can always say, okay, it's a professional Dropbox. See, look at the opportunities or the possibilities you have with Dropbox and OneDrive and Google Drive and whatever other solution there is. Nomadesk is the professional solution for that. All the others are well known for their private use. Well, Nomadesk is going to be working in the direction of the professionals. And afterwards, later in the presentation, you will see that a couple of features answer to those needs of the professional users. So, how Nomadesk works, that's what I'm going to address now. You can see a couple of screenshots down or at the bottom of the slide. Well, Nomadesk creates virtual drives. Those virtual drives, we are going to call them vaults, as in a place where you put very sensitive things, where you store them in. Yeah, a vault. So those vaults are mounted and connected on the local device as any traditional file sharing solution. Yeah, look at the traditional server, look at a USB drive, look at a USB key. Yeah, they load their disks at the same way as we do. So we are very recognizable in the way you need to work, or you are going to work with Nomadesk. That's a very important thing to see and to understand, to let's say to tell the reseller what is important for the end user. That's ease of use. That's that it's recognizable, and that's what that's what we are trying to have as a goal, to keep it easy, to keep it recognizable. Now, those virtual drives, those vaults, they will be encrypted and stored in a secure way on the local device as well. So you only need to start with by dragging and dropping files and folders into Nomadesk, and you are off. You're getting started that way. Now, talking about Nomadesk in feature-wise, I'm going to going to explain this by telling a little bit of a story. This is important for you to see as well, or to use as well. This is like something you can remember the features by. You can use those 5 key features to tell the story to the reseller, and the reseller can use those 5 key features to tell the story to the end customer. Yeah, this in the feature way. So we are going to tell the story by saying, okay, when you place a file in a Nomadesk vault, it will automatically be, and then go on with the story by number. So first of all, when you place a file in a Nomadesk vault, it's automatically encrypted and cached on the local vault. Yeah, which means that the data that you store on the local device in a vault will be available on the local device, of course, and you will be able to take along with you the device with the files in it in a secure way. But when we are talking about having your files on a local device, that means that those devices can be compromised as well. So we need to build in a security measure, and that's with the traceability and the remote wipe through TheftGuard. That's what we are going to do. We are going to be able to trace the devices that have Nomadesk installed on them and have them connected by any license. They will be traceable, and they will be able to be remotely wiped from a distance, of course, because otherwise it wouldn't be remote. So you have any other device available to search for the compromised device and remote shred all the data that is stored in the Nomadesk vaults on there. Yeah, and on top of that, you will have availability of your files and your folders without the need of a connection. So you don't need an internet connection to have accessibility to the data that you stored on the local device, which is very easy, of course, very convenient, because a lot of people are traveling or are on the road or on a plane or a train or whatever. They are able to work and be productive in places they couldn't be productive in the past, but now they can, because they have offline availability of their data. All right. So second of all, when you place a file in a Nomadesk vault, it will automatically be backed up to a secure data center. Of course, the location of the data center, I have already discussed that. And we are going to do that in 2 ways. So we are talking about backup features that are included in a license. One of those backup features is the versioning. We are going to create revisions per file. So every time a file gets edited, gets modified or whatever, gets saved and synced to the cloud, it will be created as a version, as a revision. And during the day, it's possible that you have several revisions, and at the end of the day, the latest or the last revision that has been made will be kept for another 14 days. Yeah. So imagine this: you are working in a company together with your colleagues, of course, using Nomadesk. You are, of course, able to open each other's files like you did in the past on a traditional file server. So it is perfectly possible that somebody modifies a file which you needed in the original state. So you will be able to go to the web client, go to revisions, and restore the previous version within 14 days. That is the revisions within Nomadesk. The second backup feature that we are going to include in our license is an online trash can. So imagine the same situation as I did before. You are working together, and one of your colleagues, one of your coworkers has deleted a file. Then you will be able to go to the web client and restore those deleted files from the online trash can per vault. Yeah. So within 30 days, so every deleted file will be kept in the online trash can for 30 days. So within 30 days, you have the ability to restore your files that have been deleted. The third thing that will happen when you place a file in a Nomadesk vault, it will be automatically be synchronized. And the synchronization is maybe, in fact, let's say, the most popular feature that end users would like to have, because they know that from their private environment, from, let's say, the free Dropbox account or their iCloud account, it's easy, it's convenient that everything is linked to each other, that everything is synchronized. And that's what we are going to do as well, but in the professional environment. We are going to have the ability or share the ability to synchronize all the files or to have accessibility to all the files from any of the devices of one user. So we are talking about a desktop computer, a laptop computer, a Mac, a PC. It doesn't matter, a mobile device, it doesn't matter. It can be linked to that same account. Okay, and we are going on the computers, we are going to do the synchronization on a delta block level. So that means that only the modified parts of a file are going to be synchronized, which means that we are not going to target that connection very hard. We are going to make sure that it's not going to be used in 100% every time a synchronization needs to take place. We are going to do that in a very small way. Use that connection. Now, that brings us, of course, automatically to the mobilization of files when you put a file in a Nomadesk vault. You see the logos of the four best known platforms. So we have a Nomadesk app in every of those app stores. And you can connect with your own license, of course, with your own credentials. And from those local mobile devices, you will have availability of your files. You will be able to see or to preview your files. You will be able to share those files. You will be able to create a vault, to invite somebody on a vault. You can do a lot of stuff on that mobile device, as well as using TheftGuard on there to localize other devices that have been stolen or lost or whatever, and you can remote wipe them from your mobile device as well, and vice versa. From other devices, you can search for to your mobile device and then shred it from a distance as well. Now, the fifth thing that will happen is, of course, the sharing part. And that is maybe, let's say, the most versatile way or feature that you have in Nomadesk. Because we are going to offer sharing in two ways, in two possible ways to do so. One, you can share with other Nomadesk users, of course, because that way you will be able to have Nomadesk or to install Nomadesk as an alternative for that traditional server. You will offer the ability to connect to a centralized environment and then work together on files. That's what people are used to do from their traditional environment. So that's with people with a Nomadesk license. You will be able to invite other Nomadesk users to certain vaults. Not necessarily all of your vaults. You will be able to choose that. And that way, within a corporate environment, you will be able to create, let's say, a structure in rights, in accessibility rights. Somebody can only access a certain folder in a vault. Then you just need to invite them on that amount of folders without the need of sharing the entire vault. So you don't need to invite everybody on the complete vault. You can always choose subfolders to invite them on if you like. And that's with people within your own company environment, but as well as with people outside of your company. As long as they have a Nomadesk license, that works perfectly. They can be on the other end of the world. It doesn't matter. That's the sharing part with other Nomadesk users. But the second sharing part within Nomadesk is that we offer the ability to share with non-Nomadesk users. They don't need a Nomadesk license to be able to access a certain file or a certain folder. So that means that you can choose if somebody, if one of the customers, the end customers, works with another company and they just need to exchange a couple of files, but in a regular way, let's say monthly or quarterly, then they can do that using file links or folder links. Yeah. So that way, you will be able to create a link, a file link or a folder link, of course, and the recipient only needs to click that link, and he gets access within certain flexibility that you can choose before sending it. But he gets access to a certain file. It starts downloading, and he can open it, or he gets access to a certain folder. He needs to click the link, gets transferred to the web browser, and over there he gets accessibility to the folder and the files that are in there. Yeah? You can create those files or those links. Sorry, you can create those links from a desktop level, from your mobile device, from your web client, even from your Outlook. So within Windows Outlook, Microsoft Outlook, you will be able to start a new email, and within that email, you see an Nomadesk plugin in there. Click it, choose a file, and the plugin automatically generates a link that has been pasted in that new mail that you started. So that way, again, you are going to have the ability to not send attachments through your web server, so your mail server, but just send links through there. So that way, the mail server will be kept clean from attachments. That means it can work longer with the amount of storage that it has. So that's the sharing part. So what we can offer the reseller is a nice growth opportunity, of course. And there are, for example, three trends that they can go along with. For one, it's the consumer mobility. Yeah, so people are used to working with their own devices. Everybody has a smartphone these days. Why not offer the ability, or that's what goes on in a lot of companies, that the users can use their own device, and the company says, okay, use your own device. I will make sure that your mail is on there, that your contacts are on there, and that your calendar is on there. Why not offer the extra ability to have the data on there as well? To have the files accessible, to have those folders, those company information, to have that available on a mobile device or any device that is actually private but used in a professional environment as well. So that's what a reseller can work with. Second, from now on, with Nomadesk, you will be able to say, okay, those and you know it's going on at the end customer site. There are users that are using their own Dropbox. There are users that use WeTransfer or Hightail or you send it, those free solutions. And those are solutions that are not controllable. They are not reportable. You cannot control what users are doing within your company with those applications. Yeah, and that's something a reseller, he can't have that. He can't have that he doesn't have control over what happens in the IT environment of his customers. So now you can say, okay, dear customer, we know there are users that use their own Dropbox to send company files to your clients. That's something that you can't afford to do that, because everybody uses some application, and that means that the files are going to be like an ink stain. They are going further and further away, and you can't control where they are going. And from now on, you have an alternative, my dear reseller, for example. You have an alternative to offer to your end customers in the person of Nomadesk or in the application of Nomadesk. Because all the things of sharing your files or sending large files or sending links or sending the ability to access data from a distance or whatever, those are included in one solution. And it's combined with the ability to work as a traditional file server. So from now on, unauthorized adoption of personal cloud services is done. Nobody uses free applications anymore because you have a good alternative to set in place. And the third thing that they can explain to the reseller is that from now on you can be sure that company sensitive data and files and folders are being communicated in a secure way, and the confidentiality remains because you have control. You can have the security of adding extra passwords. You can have the security of creating the links in a flexible way or a very narrow way. You can have that. From now on, it's all secured and it's easy to do so. All right. So, of course, everybody sells products to earn money. Yeah. So, how can you earn money? By, for example, acquiring new customers. Yeah. With Nomadesk, you can explain that, or you can target new customers because you have a new product in your product portfolio. Second, you will be able to do upselling towards existing customers as well. Um, Third of all, we work with a way of creating trials. So you can offer trials, the reseller can offer trials towards his end customers, and through the stickiness of storage, we have very low churn, which means that once a user is going for the trial, and that user has been inviting other people to work together, they are putting files on there, they are creating folders, they are creating certain vaults, they are putting certain information already in there. And before they know it, they are actively working with Nomadesk and exploring the abilities of what Nomadesk can do in a way of being productive in a professional environment. And from that moment on, it's only, let's say, one click away of turning that trial into a production license, and nothing happens for the end customer. Everything stays the same. They don't need to transfer those data that they stored in their trial license towards a production license. That's not need to happen. That doesn't need to happen. It's just one administrative click and everything is changed. And the end user, he can just go on working as before. And with Nomadesk, of course, you have by now, or now you have an unparalleled alternative for over-the-top services. Let's say, let's name a couple: Box, Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive, whatever. Those are the over-the-top services, which means that they are going to be they slide those their product over the counter, and they say, okay, there you have it. Go on, work with it. We're done here. That's not something that you can have or you will have with Nomadesk. We are going to be there one step, every step of the way. We are going to support our resellers. We are going to support our distributors. We only work through the channel, which means that we are offering support in any way that we can, whether it's technical, whether it's commercial, it's sales support. You can always get in touch with us, and we will help where we can. Yeah, that's something that you are basically not going to have with some of the other products in the market. So here you will see a short overview of brands that are being sold in the world, or partners that work with Nomadesk to sell our brand. So that way you will see that we are being located in a couple of countries as maybe a white label. But what you guys are going to do is going to be much more interesting because of the fact that it is globally enrolled through the marketplace, and we love to work and focus on the distribution and work with the other brands just to have their brand in the market and Nomadesk through you. So that's what we are going to do. That's our strategy. So that was the presentation. Maybe we can see if there are already any questions. Maybe it's interesting that I unmute you guys. Where are you? There you are. Okay, so now you are all unmuted. If you have any questions, now is the time.
Hi, here's Sarah from Germany. Hi.
Right?
Um, do you share the presentation afterwards?
Of course, I will be using a file link for that.
That would be great because we have some colleagues who couldn't participate, so we can show them
Oh, okay.
the presentation.
Um, okay, no problem. Maybe afterwards we can see if it's interesting that one day I come over to you and do the presentation again, or maybe
Hmm.
a more sales driven presentation. But that's something that we can work towards in a follow up call or something. Okay. So what was
Okay, thank you.
you are Zara?
Yes,
Okay, Zara Schoenenberg. Yeah.
genau. Yes.
All right. Yeah, it's a name that crossed my eye and I remembered it right away. So
Okay, thank you.
okay, so I see here Sander asking the questions or asking the question, what are the MSRP prices? Um, so again, I will need to check what the pound price will be, but
I can tell you that, Miguel.
sorry.
I can answer my own question,
Oh,
but I
that's
just
very
thought
good.
I'd put it out there for everyone
I will
else.
start by telling the euro prices and the dollar prices maybe, and then then you can say what
I've,
the London price is, what the pound price is. Okay?
I've got the pound prices and I've got the Swedish pricing.
Oh,
So on a monthly plan,
yeah.
it's 500, five pound 50 on a monthly price, and £60 for an annual price, and that is per seat.
Okay.
So those are the pound prices.
All right. Thank you.
The Swedish krona prices is 70 Swedish krona on a monthly seat basis,
Mm-hmm.
and 756 krona on an annual license per seat.
56 on an annual base. Okay, Sander, thank you very much. So, for those who are still interested in the euro price, it is 81 euros per year and 7 euros and a half or 750 per month, and that's the end user price. So you will be, if I am not mistaken, you will be offering the reseller a 22% discount, which means that he buys in at 22% lower than.
Yeah, the UK VAR pricing is £4.29 on a monthly basis, 46.80 on an annual, and for Sweden the VAR price is 54.60 on a monthly and 589.68 on an annual. So the retailer makes some half decent margin on this. It's a very good margin, actually.
We believe so as well, and that's the thing that I was trying to illustrate you, or we can use this to illustrate how far we are going into supporting our resellers, because those guys are the most important to work with, of course, and to keep them motivated, you have to offer them a good a good kickback, yeah, and that's with us, that's in the margin.
The other part I would like to add to this, I've had a quick chat with the guys in Holland who have obviously been selling Nomadesk for a little bit longer,
Yeah,
probably about 12 to 18 months.
yeah.
The main feedback I got from those guys was, uh, yes, it might be true that Nomadesk is a relatively unknown entity as an organization.
Yeah.
However, when resellers see the functionality, potentially even use a couple of licenses on an internal basis,
Hmm.
they really get behind the product and then start selling it in anger. So the initial step to getting resellers excited about Nomadesk is almost to say to them, try it out for yourselves, see how it works, get used to the product, and as soon as they really get what the value is inside the Nomadesk solution, then they will start selling it out in anger to their end customers.
Correct. Seeing is believing. That's very important.
Correct.
And that's why we work with the trials as well, because it's the same story on an end user level. If a reseller offers a trial license to an end user, the end user can start trying and start playing with Nomadesk. And from that moment on, when they see what the possibilities are, they are hooked. All right. So I have another question from Pelle Johansson. Which encryption level do you use? So we work with 256-bit AES encryption, which means it's standard encryption, but it's okay. Somebody has a nice background music, but so it's 256 gig bit encryption that we work with, Pele. You're welcome. So we have still a couple of minutes left, so maybe we can switch to the demo part. If there aren't any other questions vocally, I'm going to mute you all again. Oh, I see somebody from Sweden.
There's just one more question.
Yeah. What is your view on using Nomadesk as a replacement for storing data on a server? If I understand the question correctly, well, we are going to be the alternative for the server. You will be able to install Nomadesk on a server, but that's a bit tricky. We basically worked from an end user base, so from let's say from a device base, and then work towards our cloud environment, and then share from there on. So the need to have it on a server as well is a bit weird, because you are going to put your data on there and it will be synchronized towards our cloud. So there are no no dear, I see only the name Sweden, so I'm going to say, dear Sweden, there are no restrictions. So we have no restrictions in amount of files, in type of files, or in how big they are. So we only work with a fair use policy per vault. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Sander. So we work with a fair use policy per vault, but you can create as many vaults as you like, and that way you have an unlimited storage capacity available. Is that the answer to your question, maybe? All right. Thank you, David. So let's go on to the demo. So what I'm going to share with you is a short view on my local. There you are, on my local device. So this is the amount of volts that I have available on my device. Now I'm going to quit this, and then you will see that every disk that I have mounted on my local device will be cached. It will be it will not be available anymore, since I stopped running Nomadesk, and everything gets encrypted that way. Let me check for something. I'm now going to demonstrate how you start a new account. So I'm going to go to create myself a trash mail email address. So I'm going to do that. UK. I am UK. Okay. Change that. Okay. And then save it. So what I'm going to do now is imagine yourself, you have installed Nomadesk, and you will be creating or you have an account that already has been forwarded to you from the marketplace, for example. So you have installed the software. What I'm going to do, I'm going to create an account, which you won't be needing to do, or the resellers won't be needing to do, because the account is already created. Trashmail.com, that's correct. Because the account is already created through the marketplace, of course. So that's Nico I am, create password. Okay. Okay, so what I'm asked to do now is to create a new vault. So I'm going to call that UK 2015 05. There you are. It will now check if the name of the vault already exists. It doesn't, because it's a green checkbox that comes up. And from now on, he is creating the vault, and he's starting my local client. So there you are. I have my local client in place, and just to be able to open the vault, I just need to click twice, and you see it opens right away. And on the left pane here, my navigation pane, you see that the vaults are that the vault is available through there as well. So that's the thing that I was talking about in case of recognizability. Is that a correct English word? I think so. And now I just need to start. Let's say what I have here. Okay, this is a good one. I'm always in search of green superheroes because of the Nomadesk green, and I found a very good one. Maybe you guys know him. Yeah, here's Green Lantern. So I'm going to share the Green Lantern, or going to sync it. And from now on, you see I have put a file in there, and my local client is going to see that something changed. So he will now do the synchronization, and it's done. Okay. So what I'm going to do next is to place or drag and drop one of the files. He sees the same, something changes, he will do the synchronization again. Okay, there you are, and it's done. Now, if I want to share a certain file, I'm going to do that by clicking on my right mouse button. I'm going to say, okay, I want to share, and there you are. You have a mail screen coming up. This is a Nomadesk mail screen. So, for example, I'm going to send it to Sander. Ingermicro.com. And what I'm able to do is to say, okay, I can change the subject changed. I can type a message if I would like to type a message. There you are. And then you have 4 opportunities, or 4 ways to make this link as flexible, or as low on possibilities as you wish. So what's going on? I hear somebody. Okay, so nobody's. Oh yeah, I see it. Ingra Micro, thank you very much for your messages. I'm going to put that. Did I quit it? Okay, are you guys still able to see my screen? Because I'm missing something here, the control panel. Okay, there you are. Phew. All right, so thank you for the message about the email address. So next, I'm going to talk about the possibilities that you have when you create a link. So you can have a notification when somebody sends the link, or somebody clicks the link, sorry. You can add an expiration date or amount of time that it will be available. You can say, okay, I want to have a maximum amount of downloads, and I want to add a password to it. So I'm going to do this. And Sander, I hope you get the email very quick. So when you will click the email, we will see that in my mailbox happening. So next, when I want to share a complete folder or an entire folder, I do exactly the same thing. I'm going to say, okay, I want to share it again. And then maybe if Zara, that's the name that always comes up. I guess it was like this at ingrammicro.com. Correct me if I'm wrong, Zara, in the chat box because everybody's muted. But I can as well say change the subject. If I like to, I can type a message. If I like to, hello, Zara, there you are. And then, thank you. And then the same options come up. So I have the ability to ask for a notification when Zara will click the email. I will put it available for 7 days. I will be able to add a maximum amount of downloads, add a password to it. So now you will see that there are things happening in the way an FTP server works. Yeah. So this is the perfect and simple, easy to use alternative for FTP as well, because I will be able to share a larger amount of files with somebody externally, and I will be offering them the ability to access it in a secure way by adding a password to it, and I will be offering the ability to send files towards myself, towards me as well. They will have the ability to upload files too, and that way I get it synchronized towards myself in an automatic way. So allow changes and share subdirectories. There you are, Zara. Zara, if you like, I would like to invite you to upload a file on there. When you open the link, you will see a frame, and on top of that frame, you see a couple of arrows, an arrow up and an arrow down. One of those is, of course, an upload button. And please, if you have a file to share with us, please upload it, and I will synchronize it in the automatic way and have it available. So I can imagine if, okay, now I want to have control of what happens to my links. So when I go to my mailbox, I see here that, okie dokie, I see that Zara has got a link from me because I created it, and it has been accessed on today, of course, at this timing, and it was Zara opening it. And I can see who it is, what the message is, what my link is, and for how long it is available. And the same thing happened with the link that I sent to Sander. Yeah, Sander now has my screenshot, my superhero that I wanted to share with him. And if everything goes well, in a couple of minutes, I have a file that Zara would like to share with us. So, meanwhile, I'm going to talk about a bit about control. So, when you want to control your files, you will be able to say, okay, I want to be notified when somebody does any changes. When somebody, as a Nomadesk user, does changes to a certain file or folders, I can get updated on that as well. So that way, if I set this up, every time something changes in a certain file or folder, I get notified. Okay, so if I want to be able to share files, but maybe do that not through an email, but I want to have a link that I want to put on my website, for example, or a link that I want to send through Skype or link or whatever, I can say click get link, email to folder, and then file link, which means that I want a notification when somebody accesses it. I want to be able to set an expiration date, maximum amount of downloads. Every time it's the same story. Copy it into a clipboard. Then say, okay, my best friend Peter within Nomadesk, I'm going to send it over to you and say, don't need to click. It is my demo going on. There you are. And if I send it to him, he will have the ability to click the link because now it is an active link, and that way he will have the superhero that I want to share with him. There you go. So let me see if Zara already did some synchronization or an upload. So it is in sync. I hope she already No, nothing is uploaded yet, Sarah. Is that correct? Okay. Anyway, we'll
Hi,
see.
Sarah. I'm sorry. No, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Did you? I thought I set it up that you.
I have downloaded it on my desktop, so I have to install new. Just a second, I try it again.
You don't need to download anything. In fact, it is.
Okay.
You need to click the link, and you will be transferred to the web browser. And in the web.
There's a folder link which is open now.
Yeah, it's open.
And there I can see the PDF file.
Okay, so on top of the little frame that you have in the middle, yeah, you have a frame in there where the file is available, eh?
Yes.
Yeah. On top of that, you see a couple of buttons.
Yes.
An arrow up and an arrow down.
Mhm.
Yeah. So click on the arrow to do an upload. I think it's the arrow up.
Yeah. Okay.
There you are. And then choose a file that you want to share with us, and everything will turn out right. Sorry for including you in this demo unannounced.
No, it's absolutely okay. I know that from the other colleagues as well.
So I'm going to, for the last couple of minutes, meanwhile, I'm going to show you guys the web interface, and that's this way. That was imuk@trashmail.com. Entering it right now. There you are. So now you see my vault that I have created with a dashboard on the right. So that's more a navigation pane on the left. Sorry, not on the right. You have the view of the contents of that certain vault. On the top here, you have the devices. There you are. I am located right here in the environment of the Netherlands of Eindhoven with my device. And if I click manage, I can manage my own settings. And if it weren't a trial at this point, you will be able to have the settings and things that you can modify regarding your users if you are an admin. When I go back to my files, I have on the left pane, I have my navigation with the users that are listed per vault. I can have the settings, I can modify the settings if I want to. I have file activity, so that means that everything that happens with a certain file will be listed here. So you can have control over and you can see what has happened with certain files or with certain locations or whatever. And then you will see what has happened, who has done it, and what the time is that when it's done. Yeah, when you click a certain file, you will be transferred to that to the location, to the effective location of that file. When you go to link management, you see here the links that I have created or that somebody has created. There was a link sent to Sander, there was a link sent to Zara, and there was a get link created. But because of the fact that a get link has been created without the addition of a certain email address, you will see that it is blank here because it's not included in the link, of course. You will see what type of, which file or folder it is, where it is listed. You will see the expiration date that has been included. You will see that it is what the status is, if it's enabled or disabled, the type of link, a folder link or a file link, and the amount of downloads. Zara, have you been able to add files or a file?
Yes.
All right, I see synchronization happening. So there you are. You're not being very original, Zara.
I'm sorry.
So, but now we see we have a modified version of the file that I sent to Zara through a folder link, and she sent it right back to me as an upload in that same link. So that way, the demonstration of working together through a folder link has been done, and it worked quite well. So, but now, Zara, I thought of the fact that I shared the possibility to upload for you to upload files in there, but that was, I think, maybe a big mistake. So what I want to do is now go to the same to the link that I sent to you and say, okay, I don't want to revoke the link. I don't want to delete it as well. It has to be it has to be accessible for you, but I don't want to offer you the changes and the share subdirectories possibility. So you from now on, within a couple of minutes, when the refreshing has been done, you will not be able to send me files anymore, and that way. I don't. This way, I don't need to create a new link towards the folder to send it to Zara again because of the properties that have been changed. That's not necessary. Zara just needs to click the same link, and the same link will be refreshed with the new properties. And that way, I keep control of accessibility and availability of certain links towards files and folders. Earlier, I have talked about the revisions. At this point, there are no revisions made because I didn't make any changes to certain files, but I will create a revision myself. I just go to my files, I see here activity log, I see the revisions that there are none, and I see the links that I have created, and then, oh, yeah, that was true, I send it to Sander. Test in UK. No, let's say Sweden for a change. Create, and now when the refreshing needs to be done, there you are, there is a revision added. Yeah. If I go to my total list of revisions, there is the overview of every link and file that has been every file that has a revision made from. Okay, I will answer that in a minute, Pele. Just a minute. So the revisions, when I click this, you will see all the revisions that have been made on Vault level. Okay, so all the files which have revisions will be listed here. And if I want to, I click the arrow and I see now, okay, this is a version that has been created. Okay, Zara, thank you very much for attending the meeting. I love to talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Have a good day. So I
Thank you,
can
bye.
go to restore, download, save as, or delete this version. All right. And then if I go to the properties, I have a couple of more detailed information regarding the vault. So at this point, I see we are slightly running out of time. We have maybe 2 minutes left more. So I have that for the questions. So the question of Pelle Johansson was, could you prevent a file to be downloadable, only viewed? Well, at this point, you can't prevent it to be downloaded, but in a couple of months, I guess it's going to be the last quarter of this year, we are going to add a functionality in Nomadesk, which is called view-only links or view-only files, which means that if you create a link towards a file or a folder, you will be able to have it in an online viewer first, and after that, choose if you like to download it, yes or no. And automatically, it brings along the next functionality, and that's the answer to your question. You will be able, when you create the link, you will be able to enable the fact that you want it only to be available in online view, and not to be able to download the file. Yeah, so that's the answer to your question. At the moment it's not. Afterwards it comes in. Yeah, we are constantly growing, guys. So it's 12 o'clock at my end, or at this part of of the globe. If you guys have any more questions, please get them back to me. I'm available for all questions and other things regarding Nomadesk. And I would like to thank you very much for attending this meeting. And I'd love to talk to you later.
Before everybody goes, there is a session this coming Monday, the 11th of May. Starts at 2:30 UK time, 3:30 Central European time. What we will do there is provide an overview of Nomadesk in Marketplace. So it's how resellers would configure Nomadesk inside the Marketplace will be part and parcel of that particular training session.
All right. That's interesting. You should all attend. Okay, everybody. Thanks a lot. I'm going to close the session now. Talk to you later, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Nico.
Bye-bye.